folks, how you doing? It's myself again, Bluebeard, back again. Unfortunately, you haven't seen me for a while. That's because of two different things. Number one, the last one I recorded about 2 weeks ago didn't actually record, and I haven't had a chance to sit down and sort this problem out till now. Secondly, the big issue for me has been I've been spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours editing clubs so that they have a kit, editing clubs and putting them into different what do you call them, divisions and all that kind of stuff. I'm still working through it, but I have all the divisions set up, or at least all the clubs in the various divisions for the intermediate tier. That's tiers 4, 5 and 6. Now, today's plan was to build the 4th tier. Scratch that. I'm going to build the 5th. I'm just going to leave this old banner up because I don't want to have to make a new one because I already have this. So building the 4th tier plus 1. It's building the 5th tier. It is creating, if you like, or even if you don't like, the 5th level of this. As you can see, division wise, I have 4 tiers in there already, and the 4th tier, as you can imagine, consists of subdivisions, which are Leinster Senior Premier North and South, Munster Senior Premier, and the Irish Connacht and Ulster Senior League, because I feel that makes more sense and it gives us a chance to get more Connacht teams further down, more Ulster teams further down, to have that exciting build to the top. Anyway, so what I need to do is basically today is I need to create a new 5th tier, an intermediate tier. So we start as usual by creating a level that has subdivisions. So this competition is going to be the Irish intermediate, Irish level 5, which hopefully comes up as the Irish intermediate, and divisions for this. Now again, this is one of those things that you need to make sure you get them all right. You want to get it all at the one time. I'm going to deliberately make a mistake so I can come back to it. So it's the first divisions, in this case, First Division North. The order doesn't really matter, but it kind of will eventually. So First Senior League, First Division South, Munster, Munster First Division. We have the Ulster Senior League. We have the Connacht Senior League. We actually also have the Southeast Senior League, but we're not going to do that now, so you can see how you can fix the screw up I'm about to deliberately make. Next is settings, the usual kind of stuff. I tend to go fairly banally for the intermediates, and I tend to keep them all the same. 3 from 7 subs, 1 promotion places. I'm going to leave those blank for now, because that's going to be an issue later on. In terms of the day of the week, we'll also be setting this. I'm going to make this I can't remember now, I think it's Saturday at 11 o'clock. So finish. So there we go. That's the job done, yeah? No, there's so much more work to be done. Firstly, we need to see who's going up, who's going down. Oh yeah, first thing we actually need to do is, if you screw up like I did, and you didn't put in enough subdivisions, so you can see what I've done here. I've clicked on intermediate level 5 to call it up. I've clicked on subdivisions. I haven't clicked the drop down. I've just clicked on subdivisions, and you can add in the Belgian Pro League. I don't want the Belgian Pro League. You don't want the Belgian Pro League. How do we change what it is? Simple. You go down here, click open this, hit on General, and change Belgian Pro League. Search into, let's see, Southeast is we want, I think. Southeast. You can see there's loads of them, so let's just tidy it up by adding some more detail, which would be Ireland. I said Ireland. So we want the Super League, and then we can fit into the Championship after that. So there's lots of little bits and pieces to do. I'm not going to do it on all of them, but I'm going to give you a sense of how you do it. Firstly, let's take the Leinster Senior League First Division North. Division for promoted teams? Anybody? It'll be the Irish Leinster Senior First Division Premier. Oh, sorry, Irish Senior Leinster. Let's try that again. Irish Leinster Senior League Premier Division North. So to make it easier for us to get to these, let's just put in some of the basics like Ireland, and we'll add type is domestic division, not domestic top division, and finally name. If I put in LEINS, that gives us a place to go. So as you can see, I don't have nearly enough space because of the size of these titles. So if you're in the first South, you're getting or first North, you're getting promoted into the Premier North. Division for relegated teams, same kind of thing. I'm going to put it in, but it's going to be a little bit sticky. It's going to be going fairly linear down from here. Let's see. Same trick again. It gets repetitive, but it's not too bad. For the most part, with this, I could literally just put in Leinster, and that should work. But let's make it easier. We get all the oh yes, and competition type is domestic division. And apply that filter again. Still need to open it up. Curse you, unnecessary thing. Let me see. There we go, that's a bit better. Pull this continent back. Pull Europe closer to Ireland. Just like Britain wants. And yeah, teams going demoted from this are going into Leinster Senior League 2 North. So there you have your sort of progression going on. To double check, yes, intermediate level 6. So it's where it should be going. Let's go back. Nation rules is where all this stuff lives. So let's talk about the Leinster Senior League First Division North. Type is a league. It doesn't need groups, doesn't need splits, anything like that. Minimum number of teams. I always recommend, unless you're wanting to do something really fancy, Dan, and have teams change or divisions change size, set your limit at the beginning and have them stay that way. You can trick around if you like and have a division change size. It regularly happens in Ireland. The first becomes 10 and the second becomes 12, or back in the day that was the case. Number of rounds. We have a number of rounds already allowed from the other place. If we go into on this side over here, division subdivisions. In general, it will tell us a lot of the things we need to know. So it actually is automatically decided it's 12 per team because that's how many are in all the divisions. Number of rounds 2, points for defeat, domestic league low. This is where we're going to start getting something interesting to do. And let's jump forward to the general tab on Leinster Senior League Premier Division North. Got that right this time. Number of promotion places, 2. 2 going up to the top division. Now, number of relegation places, 2. The reason for this is that the teams getting relegated are getting relegated into the same division. So, or getting relegated into the same place it was. It's going to be a little bit more complicated. I'm going to try and in place, for want of a better term, a little bit of a playoff that, if I can do it, involves both Leinster Senior League Premier First Division North and Leinster Senior League First Division. Leinster Senior League. Ooh, am I in the wrong place? I am in the wrong place. Oh, dearie me. Yeah. Well, let me take it back a bit. I went in the wrong spot. I went in Leinster Senior League Premier Division, and in terms of teams being relegated, I'm actually going to make it 4. because the Premier Division splits. Oh no, wait a second, I've got that wrong. With the North, the Premier Division does not split until it gets into the second tier, or until it gets into the 6th tier. Yeah, this is way more confusing than it needs to be. Let's close the Irish Intermediate 4 tab, bring up this. So there's 2 teams getting promoted out of here for definite. 2. Relegation places opens up a bit. We're going to make it 4 because it's splitting into 2 leagues. First Division North becomes First Division 2. Actually, I need to remove this for the time being. And it becomes also the Combined Counties League. So we have splinterings of leagues that make it a little bit more complicated and elaborate, we'll say. Can block teams from promotion. We don't want to do that. League sorting rules. For something like league sorting rules, I prefer to do that up here. So I think we had under intermediate level 4, B and C reserve teams cannot be promoted. So we don't need to do that here in 5. But what we can do is we can match what we have up here in terms of league sorting rules. And they should, I like to make it different from league to league when it's independently run, but I'm going to keep the I'm going to keep the big intermediate leagues run on the same basis. Goal difference, goals for, matches between teams once the league is finished, and games won away from home. And TV money per club, it ramps down dramatically, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's close 4 for now. Open back up 5. So we're going to add 4 of these. Goal difference, goals for. Matches between teams once the league is finished. And I think I can never remember. Yeah, games won away from home. I mean, it punishes teams that have a better home advantage than away. But you know, any of these ways of determining a winner at a certain point, you get into almost preposterous levels of, okay, what is a good thing? You know, who's gotten most corners? Does that help? I don't know. Let's make it 2,000 per club for TV. And that's the basics. If we go down again to the next section, time of league games is it's set as being 3 o'clock. I'm going to check what I have for intermediate level 4, and it's 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Let's make this 1 o'clock on a Sunday for intermediate level 5, so that it's possible to go to games. And dates, games Sunday, and let's leave it at 1. Actually, make it 1 o'clock games. Start date, end date of league. I think we've got something like the 26th of October. For we'll make that the 27th for the last day of the season, and I think it's something like the 1st of March is the first day of the season. From here on, I don't really bother with TV dates. The first 4 tiers is enough, in my opinion. Let's just compare that. 1st to the 3rd, 27th to the 10th. We're going to have a pre-season tournament, I think, with all the intermediate teams, so I can't remember if I've already put that in or not. Yeah, 15th to the 3rd. So maybe, yeah, I think I do have it in. So let's make this uniform so that the teams can all play in the same tournament. I think I called something like the Intermediate Shield. So there we go. That's matching. Break period. Does the competition take a break for yeah, I always give 2 weeks in June. In real terms, this may be surprising. One of the things about having a 2-week break in June is a lot of students are actually doing exams. So I think that's a worthy reason for a 2-week break, especially at intermediate level when you're amateur. There's a good chance that you are doing exams. Prize money, I will do another day. Fixture rules, substitution rules, match day rules, squad rules. So I'm going to start implementing a squad rule, which means that you should have a minimum number of homegrown players. Minimum number of under 23 players, I think, is better. And we'll say, what is a wage? I don't want to put a wage in. Minimum number of players in the squad, under 23, we will say 5. So you can't just come up with old pros. Honestly, 5 is such a small number and you can have such a wide range that you should be able to get in there. I'm wondering if there's a place where I can say that teams here must be semi-pro. Because I think the top 2 tiers of intermediate should be semi-pro. Below that, I'm not so worried. Prize money. So again, this is that simple thing. First place in the intermediate leagues, i.e. any of the leagues. If I said it was going to be, let's say I'm going to say it's going to be 5,000. There's nothing to stop me making it larger because the Leinster Senior League decides it's going to give out another 1,000 to each team or whatever. But it's just a thing that we can have there. Fixture rules we have, other. Yeah, points deductions. If there's anybody you really feel needs to be punished, you can put that in. The disappointing thing, I don't think that teams can get automatic points deductions during the game, which is a shame because I would like to see that done. That would be fun. Now, playoffs. This is going to be a more difficult thing. Like we could have a championship playoff between the top 4 teams. My concern is this may end up leaving one team in the lurch, that only one gets promoted or something awful like that. Prize money for winner. Let's give 3,000. Match rules. Extra time penalties. Going with the ABBA format that's now a thing. 2 legs. And away goals being a decider as well. But the thing is there that prevents us having a promotion playoff. Promotion playoffs I'm going to have in the individual various different leagues where I can. Relegation playoffs, that's another thing we can worry about on another day. So in theory, what's happening right now is 2 teams go up from Leinster Senior League First Division North. 2 teams come down from Leinster Senior League for Premier Division North. And then 4 teams get relegated. Oh no, that's the overall intermediate. So now we go into subdivisions. Sorry, this is very confusing. I know what I'm doing, which is a very bad sign. So we've got 12 teams in the league. Division for relegated teams we leave open because it's going into 2 different divisions. Blah blah blah. Relegation, promotion, sorting rules. This is all covered already up here under intermediate general. Similarly, so if I don't do anything, change anything here dates-wise, it all is covered up top. If I want, for some reason, that Leinster Senior League First Division North has a TV deal, I can put in stuff there. Prize money, similarly, I'm not going to touch that on this level. Fixture rules and other points deductions. Playoffs, now we get into something interesting. So there's a relegation type playoff. Number of teams from this division in the playoff. 1. Number of teams from lower division in playoff. That will only work if I include the upper, if it's in a linear pattern, unfortunately, which is very, very difficult to juggle. So I can't have a playoff between one team from what's the name of it? The Combined Counties Premier and one team from Leinster Senior League Division North 2 or whatever it is. I can't have those 2 playoff. It needs to be following a linear thing. So we can't really have the relegation playoff unless we have, you know, 2 going down. Anyway, that'll tell you this. Let me see. Number of teams in playoffs. I will have a Leinster Senior League First Division Championship match, but that's going to be set up as a cup rather than a match. So you do that for Leinster Senior League first. So what we did was selected team for demotion. We couldn't do that. Select team for promotion. We can do that. And promotion places. Dates, meh. Prize money, fixtures, others, playoffs. They're all fairly sorted. So we do the same thing here for Leinster Senior League First Division South. So division for promoted teams is search Leinster Senior League First Division, Premier Division South. Division for relegated teams, because it's going linear now, because the South East League is on the same tier plane as it. We can make it simply First Division or Division 2 South. Type to league, promotion places and relegation places. So in this case, it's 2 going up. It's going to be 4 teams going into the other one, and it's 2 going down because it's going straight. Block team, blah, blah, blah. Nothing else really needing to be done. I don't want to have a playoff between the lower tier and this. We'll worry about that another day. Munster League, same trick again. Division for promoted teams. Munster Premier, search, and we'll put in Munster here. Munster should do the job. And you can see the next tier down, it's going to be splitting east and west again. Same kind of thing as before. Okay, we want it going into the Premier. Won't put in a division for relegated teams because it goes into 2 places. Type, league, promotion places, relegation places. So 2 go up and 4 go down. And all that is as it was, all the same stuff. Ulster, we're going back to the case where it's 2 tiers going into the 1. Division for the promoted teams, search, change that to Ulst, ULS, actually should be enough. Munster, Connacht and Senior. Type, promotion, relegation, 2 go up, so it'll be 4 going up into the top 1, and whoops, 2 going down. Same kind of thing. Come up, Connacht, we're doing basic. Oh, I didn't finish doing that. The team for the relegated teams from the Ulster search is Ulster Senior League. Whoops. ULS. Ulster Senior League First Division is where we're at. Is what's next below. So in theory, that makes a progress, if you're ever wondering. First, Premier, Senior. And similarly so with Connacht. Division for promoted teams is as before, Ulster and Connacht. And search for CONN. Normally this is a step I do at the very end, because I like to have all the teams put together and set up. But I felt, you know, this is something that you can be doing along the way. You don't need to wait on every single team ever to be set up. And 2 going down. Okay. So now we have almost, actually I forgot about the South East League. Oops. So finally the South East League. Division for promoted teams. It's going to be going into, again, back into Leinster. L-E-I-N. If I spelt the word right, it would go quicker. Leinster Senior League Premier Division South, because that's where it's going for. And division for relegated teams, search. O-U-T-H. Second, Southeast Championship. Again, type. number of relegation and promotion places. So 2 going up. We're going to make it 3 going down. Variation, I think, is an important thing to make your leagues interesting, especially when you have splits, like under the auspices of the Southeast FA, if you want to call it that. We are going to divide up, and we're going to have Wexford, Wicklow, and Carlow, Kilkenny, and so on and so forth. So keeping those things with variance makes it interesting. Imagine, if you will, going up through a non-standard league or going up the pyramid in a non-standard setup. It's going to be different each time. Each league you go to that's run by a different organisation is going to have a different approach. So the rules, for example, that the Champions League and Europa League employ are different to the rules of, say, the English FA or the Liechtensteinian FA. Probably not really in Liechtensteinian FA, but we won't worry about that. The rules that are employed by, say, the League of Ireland are different to the rules that are employed by the Italian League. When you go down, the rules in the Italian League, Serie A, are slightly different to Serie B, but big difference comes up when you get to Legia Pro, when you get to the Dilettanti, and when you get below that. So different leagues should have different rules because of their own different natures. But anyway, that should give you a rough idea on building up through to a 4th tier. This test competitions is always a good thing to do. I don't think it's going to work right now because, let's see, division level, competition level, there we go. I don't think it's going to work because we don't have, we've got reference to what's below, but we don't have it officially announced, if you know what I mean. Let's see, add condition, nation, IREL, and we'll simulate down to Irish Intermediate level 5. Start date, we'll put that as a 9. Oops. And create new test. Minimum number, South 16. Oh, that's interesting. That is not a problem I expected to have. I've got too many teams in Irish Second Division South. This looks like a problem I will have to solve. Anyway, in the meantime, hope all this records properly. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it's helpful to some of you who are trying to build your own leagues. But yeah. Talk to you soon. Next time I'm going to try and do all the way down through the southeast to the bottom tier, which is the Wexford 2A, the 10th tier. So you can get sort of the vertical as well. Doing it vertically, much easier than doing it horizontally because you don't forget stuff, which, as you can see, I do. Otherwise, I'm going to keep plugging away at fixing teams and fixing little problems. Hope this helps. Talk to you soon. Bye.